But we could talk shit about the Bears and the Lions after we get to
Yes.
the first topic of the day. And let me go. I have like this cool thing where I can like add banners and shit. So let's transition to the first topic. So as of now, it is December 18th, but because next week is gonna be Christmas, we're going to film this ahead of time. But moving forward to week 17, so take this with a grain of salt because things might change by week 17. We're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings matchup. And how we're going to go about this matchup is we'll break it down to we'll list each team's strength and weaknesses, who is the X factor to win the game for either team, and ultimately who's going to win the matchup. And lastly, is the winner of this matchup going to be in the wild card round? So, Mike, since you're by yourself, I'm going to let you start off with your Vikings, list some strengths and weaknesses, and then me and Sam will transition over to the Packers.
Well, in terms of strength, if this was back in like week 8 or whatever, when they first played each other, I would say Kirk Cousins, big time strength, the offense, big time strength. Now I'm firmly ingrained that the defense is probably the only strength of this team right now. If it wasn't for a really good defense, they are probably only at 5 wins still. They probably wouldn't have beat Atlanta, and they definitely probably wouldn't have beat the Saints. They got a couple of cool spot starts from Josh Dobbs, who could have, again, been a highlight, but as we talk right now, is no longer even the second string quarterback. He's the third string emergency guy. So strengths, I would say their D line has been pretty good. They've been okay against the rush this year. DBs are okay too. They're running like 3 safeties consistently, which is very different. But their offense is just sputtering. They're just not getting the kind of points they were getting a couple of weeks ago, and it's frustrating because, you know, when Josh Dobbs first got there, he put up like 24 points. The next week, like again 24, and then after that, after being in the system for about 3 weeks, he just kind of lost it, and they couldn't do anything against the Bears or the Broncos. And now we look at both the Bears and Broncos. Broncos did pretty well. I mean, they lost against the Lions, but the Bears also, their offense at least doesn't look bad anymore. They might still suck, but yeah, the Vikings just they can't seem to get it together. They can't put together a couple of wins like they were doing before, and it sucks because, as we've said, everyone else lost. If they would have just won, they'd be this much closer to the Lions. But I think the Lions would have to lose out, and the Vikings would have to win out to win the division. Still in a good playoff spot. That's great, but I don't really know that I want them to be in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. It's just either one of these teams, if they make it in the playoffs, it's not going to be a pretty wild card matchup, whoever they play against.
No, yeah. I mean, you're looking at probably the Cowboys if they play someone,
or San Francisco,
or San Francisco. Like there's
gosh, no, please
get lit up for 50 points in your wild card game and then get a sort of okay draft pick out of it. But dude, I feel like Josh Dobbs was better when he didn't know the Vikings offense at all.
And I think it's because he just wasn't thinking about it. So like, all right, well, I don't really know what I should do, and I can improvise. Where now it's like I know what I should do, but it's not there. So what do I do? You know? And I mean, I saw someone else say this, and they just started another guy, Nick Mullins, this past week, and he made a lot of what you would call rookie mistakes. And there was someone on Vikings Twitter who was just like, if you're going to get consistent like rookie mistakes out of a veteran guy, you might as well just start your rookie now. And I would be okay with that. Like if these guys, these backups who are veterans are going to be making the same kind of mistakes as you would see a rookie make, you might as well go with a young guy and see what you got.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, young guys are also just cheaper to start anyway.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And he was a 5th round pick. So if he gets hurt, all right, well, we'll probably have to draft another guy at the same spot next year. And that's how it is.
But who's the guy again, by the way?
Jaron Hall. He came out of, I think it was North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, Nick Mullins is a very interesting character or player because I remember his debut game. It was against the Giants on Monday Night Football. The reason I remember this because it was the same night that my niece was born. I was watching Monday Night Football in the waiting room. It's crazy. And even he went to the same school as Brett Favre. So Brett Favre sent him like a congratulation text, like, "Hey, way to represent our school. Good job on your first game." And since then, Nick Mullins has never been to that level of success, no matter what team he's been on. And yeah, like I recall, like I saw a replay on Instagram where Nick Mullins had like a sack interception. I didn't think that was possible.
It was bad, dude. It was bad. So he you know how like there's a rule that if your arm's going forward, it's not a fumble. So he goes to the sideline saying, because this is just after it's like a strip sack, it looked like. He was telling the coach, like, it's okay, like I my hand was going forward, like it was thrown. But the refs are like, yeah, it was thrown, but like the guy caught it. Yeah, it's not a fumble, it's an interception. You still turn the ball over. Like that, it was, again, those are one of those rookie mistakes where you might as well start the younger guy, you know. Maybe he doesn't do that, or you know, maybe he does. It doesn't matter. You know, if it's not Kirk Cousins at this point, which I never thought I'd say this, I don't want it. You know, this has only made me want him back next year even more, because they would, if you look at the numbers he had before he got hurt, and you look at where everyone is in the NFC, they probably win more a few of these past games, plus the game this past weekend. They probably win all these games because his quarterback play was just, at least it was crisp. It wasn't like Patrick Mahomes level or Josh Allen level, but it was way better than mediocre, which what they're getting now, and they're losing because of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, was my like early MVP candidate. Like just how he was performing into the season.
Yep, all those turnovers killed them though.
Yeah. Yes. I guess we can transition over to the Packers. Stan, you want to start off with what you're seeing for strengths and weaknesses for our team?
Dude, I mean, strengths, I think, so I was talking to Morgan about this. We were like struggling through the Buccaneers game, especially the second half. And it's like, it is not the right time to fire Joe Barry. And I have a theory why.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Jordan Love, I think he's like making mistakes, but not necessarily the same ones over and over again. I feel like he is learning, and he does give a shit about winning. I think you could tell at the end of the Giants game how much it hurt that he lost that one too. Don't fire Joe Barry, because our defense is made of paper right now. And if Jordan Love continues to play really well and our defense does, maybe we make the playoffs. But if he plays really well and our defense continues to suck, we don't. We get a good draft pick. Jordan Love proves himself as the guy going forward. And then our shit years out of the way, and then we can actually make a push with these young guys moving into their second and third and fourth years. That's my theory. I think we make the most out of this season. We're not going to beat San Francisco. We're not going to beat Dallas. We probably don't beat Detroit for a third time. So give the young guys a chance to develop. Get rid of Joe Barry. Bring in Al Harris. Defense is fixed.
Al Harris. All right.
Joe Harris.
Or, you know, Bill Belichick's looking for a job too, I heard, so he can be our DC.
No way.
I think he retires. If he got fired, I think he would just retire from football.
Dude,
or go to college.
He's so checked out. He's not going to college, bro.
If you can't afford him, that he's going to the Chargers because they've got a quarterback and they've got a defense.
Yeah.
There is a way to beat the Cowboys, Sam, and it's very simple. 10% precipitation and rain. Yeah. All it takes is a couple droplets of rain, and those Cowboys are nothing. Just look what happened against Buffalo last night. They couldn't do anything when the rain was on them. So that's all we got to do is just have a little sprinkles and drizzle for us to win against the Cowboys in a playoff game.
Dude, how good is Tucker Kraft? He's going to be quite a tight end for us, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he probably had the best game of anybody against the Buccaneers on the offense.
Yes, yeah. And that kind of leads into one of my points for in terms of strength. Strength is like there is a fair distribution across all these young receivers on the offense, which I like. Sure, there's no like it guy. There's not like a Devontae Adams or a JJ, Jamar Chase, all that sort of thing. But if you can fairly distribute the ball on young receivers, and then one of these guys will eventually get the reps or the real game reps to be the it guy, whether it's Jalen Reed, Romeo Doubs, or Christian Watson, which honestly should have been after we saw in his rookie year.
Yeah.
But I mean, those two guys I just mentioned, like they both have 50+ receptions amongst those two alone. And then you have the other guy you mentioned, but then kind of transition to Jordan Love is like he's fine. I honestly think he's fine. I can't, in terms of a first-year starter, sure, he had a couple years to sit, which isn't very common amongst young NFL quarterbacks. But I could say by next year, he's going to be easily he's going to be in the top 15 or top 10 of best quarterbacks in the position. And right now, he's top 5 in TDs, top 10 in passer rating, and passing attempts that are 20 plus. So it's not like he's a dink and dak kind of guy where it's just checked down to some dude and then call it a day.
He's not Purdy.
Yeah, Purdy. Actually, I want to get into Purdy later about that. He fits into the game, in today's game. So as a young quarterback, I think he's not making those rookie mistakes. He's learning from mistakes. Sure, he still makes some, but he doesn't repeat the same mistake 2 or 3 times. So the quarterback potential is still there. The distribution is there amongst the receivers. And Aaron Jones is back, as you can see him wearing his jersey right now. And first game back, I mean, he had a very good game against the Bears in week 1. And perfect day for my jersey to come in the mail. It's too bad I didn't get to wear it on that day. But in his game back, 4 yards per carry, which is a decent game to come off of.
Mm-hmm.
He was 4 for 4 on targets thrown at him, so he still got hands. So that's only going to elevate the overall offense if he can still catch in the backfield and then still move the ball down the field to relieve Jordan Love from the quarterback duties and just kind of, all right, young guy, I got the ball. I'll bring it down a couple yards, and we'll just keep on going as much as we can. So that's more of the strengths. In terms of weaknesses, the defense is obviously the biggest hole, and maybe they don't want to get rid of Joe Barry because I don't know. I mean, you could get another good defensive pick next year. Just draft some Georgia guy like they do for the past 2 or 3 drafts.
The Georgia
yeah. The defense is trash. Like before this game, the Buccaneers averaged about 2 touchdowns a game. Packers allowed Baker Mayfield 4 passing TDs. Like I was looking at some footage, and like there's just a lot of high safety coverage and just a lot of open space, and allow him to get those big plays and allow so many yards. So the passing defense has a lot of flaws in it, or at least in that example of a game. So they can't allow that to happen for the remainder of the season. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Sam. Matt LaFleur is not my guy. Like, yeah. I like him slightly more than Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is just clueless, in my opinion. Like,
the Cowboys are pretty damn good.
Calling plays now. They're moving the ball. If you want a jet sweep every second or third play, Mike is not your guy. You need Mr. LaFleur on the play call.
Matt LaFleur is almost too smart for his own good sometimes, and sometimes get a little too conservative. He gets a little. I think my only problem with Matt LaFleur is the defense. It's not much more of like the tactics of defense. It's the discipline. Like these defensive guys are just kind of like, who was it? Was it Quay Walker who got ejected?
Yeah, I think Russell Douglas moved the ball.
Yes, like those guys are just being little kids in a way. Yeah. And like I just feel like Matt LaFleur, at least how he's going about coaching, whether it's how he disciplines not the players but the staff, in terms of like we need to get these guys accountable. We need to minimize the penalties because yards are yards, and maybe that's just not going down. But I could be wrong. But either way, I don't like how conservative he gets on tight situations. And the very first example of that was when the NFC Championship game against the Bucs, Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers, the last time we saw that matchup, and they didn't go for 2. I was mind blown. You don't give Tom Brady the ball back for 2 reasons. He's smart with the ball, and the game the NFL loves Tom Brady, so they're going to find a way for him to be saved. So you got to be aggressive in those sort of situations, and I didn't sense that from LaFleur. And since then, I've had this ick almost of like, guys, this guy really do I want him to be the guy? Like he's really smart, but I need a guy with balls when it matters most.
Yeah, great hair, great beard, great eyebrows.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember my ex-girlfriend at the time loved watching Packers football because Matt LaFleur was on TV.
He's a good face for the franchise, covering up Gutekunst and Mark Murphy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But hey, Gutekunst probably looking a little better after this season than going into it, I think.
I agree. His image to the public, at least Packers Nation, has definitely been more of a positive note, especially the whole Rodgers staying or leaving debacles between those guys. So it's better for his image at least. So who is the X factor for both teams when this matchup comes? How about you, Mike? You can just do Vikings if you only do Vikings.
Yeah. I would say, well, I can do one for both.
Okay.
For the Packers, and it's not just because he's on my fantasy team, but Jaden Reed is really fucking good. He could be like your guy's Debo, well, maybe not Debo Samuel, but he can do a lot more than just catch the ball. Like I saw some plays where he could run it. They could have a really cool offense again if they just trusted Jordan Love a little bit more, or maybe just ran the ball a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, he was looking good. I mean, they got a couple of good receivers on that team. They just need, a little bit more cohesion when it comes to quarterback play. But Jordan Love isn't the worst either. For the Vikings, I'm going to go with probably Daniil Hunter, their D end. I mean, he's just really good at what he does. I mean, if you can get to the quarterback, no matter who's at quarterback position, I mean, you're just going to create turnovers eventually. And Jordan Love can get a little panicky and throw the ball up there. So I would say he's probably the X factor here. I would love to say JJ, but again, the offense is so not ready right now for that. So I'm not going to go with him.
All right. How about you, Sam?
Dude, I think, honestly, I love the way TJ Hawkinson plays for the Vikings. So nice. I think if you've got, Addison and Jefferson on the field, he'll probably get a lot of over the middle coverage, especially with Joe Barry's defense playing high safety coverage. Packers, I really want to say Christian Watson because, like, to your point, Jordan Love gets a little finicky, and Christian Watson can high point the ball in the end zone, like that catch he had against the Chiefs, I believe. And then alternatively, Reed is a great guy, really speedy, good at catching the ball, running routes, but he missed like a ball completely in the back of the end zone against the Giants that would have put us up late. And Christian Watson catches that ball, I think. So he's a huge X factor. But like to the point of the defense, if we actually plan on winning games, Jai Alexander's got to get into the game and actually like play some football. I know Stokes is coming back, and hopefully he can stay healthy and keep moving. But like Valentine, those guys are cool stories, but they're not going to like stop Godwin. They're not going to stop Jefferson or like St. Brown from Detroit or any of those like top tier guys. It's pretty clear. Like, he stopped MVS by tackling him before the ball got to him. So,
dude, I miss some Eric Stokes, man. He was one of my favorite rookies that year. Yeah, those are some good players you guys both mentioned. For me, for the Packers, I think one guy that could really make a difference, it's something very low key, is your guy Sam, Luke Van Ness. If he can, he's had a couple good games lately, and if he can contribute to stopping the run defense, because as Mike said, the pass offense is a mess because they can't even give JJ the ball anymore. So if you can stop another component, which is the run offense, that whole offense is just going to be neutralized. In terms of Vikings, I would say Hawkinson has to be the it factor, because what I like with the tight end position is it's literally a jack of all trades, to where they have to block, they have to catch, and most of the catching happens on down the middle sort of plays, that the easy plays that anyone that plays the quarterback position can throw to. So Hawkinson can make the offense much easy for whoever is in that position for the Vikings to really drive that offense down.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, it'd be great if they had someone else who could throw the ball to maybe an open JJ, or like you guys said, Addison's a great rookie right now. So it'd be cool if they don't waste two people's careers, but it's just wasn't on the cards this year.
Didn't he get in trouble again this season for like going like 70 and
no,
on his car? Or was that someone else?
He went 134 miles per hour, I think.
Allegedly.
Yeah. No, they clocked him in at that.
Okay, right.
Yeah, he admitted to it and everything. They clocked him in and everything.
Sam already knows. And this show, like the McAfee show, we have to make sure we say allegedly to anything we say.
Oh yes. No, yeah. This one's confirmed. This one is confirmed now. But he a little preseason trouble, and since then, dude, he's been literally very quiet. That's how everyone describes him, as he's a very quiet guy. In almost a weird way, like, dude, you just scored a touchdown. Like, you should be excited, but he's kind of, he's a quiet guy. Maybe he's just waiting for his real big moment, or maybe he's seen a lot of Vikings moments that got really, really big, and then there's like a letdown right away, like I've seen. So
yeah,
it could be a mixture of both. Don't get your hopes too high.
Diggs, Jefferson, kind of got to wait until your moment is pretty clear that you're up there with those guys. I think he's kind of just respectful of the history there.
Yeah. Yeah. Long history of just great wide receiver play and no quarterback to throw him to.
Dude, if Green Bay and Minnesota just had one.
Yeah. It'd be a great team.
Favre to Moss and Jefferson to Rogers and Diggs. That'd be
it would have been great.
Damn. Huh. Well, one can dream.
I mean, Favre did end up being on the Vikings at one point, but no Randy Moss. He did make one of our receivers at the time look really good, and he got paid after that because of that season. But, I mean, it was just the 1 year.
Took you guys to the dance almost.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't confirm. Who's winning this game? I forgot to ask that question.
Vikings.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are probably going to win the game. Only because the Packers are so bad at closing. Like, the Vikings are also bad at closing out, but they're not as bad as the Packers. Like, man, you guys had, what was it, against the Giants? Like, that was frustrating for me to watch. Like, of course, I'm rooting for the Giants here, but, like, that was frustrating to watch. That last couple of minutes was just, man, I mean, you scored a touchdown, but you left just enough time for fucking Tommy DeVito. Who's this guy? And then he comes out and he drives the ball down the field. It's weird. There's something going on with the backups this year. There's been so many backups that I think no one has that prep time beforehand. Like, they were studying Daniel Jones, or if you're the Jets, or if you're playing against the Jets, you're studying Rodgers. You're not looking at Wilson or whoever the heck else. I think Simeon was the last one in there. Like, you're not looking at that tape. You're preparing for the one guy, and then you never know who you're going to play now.
Yeah, it's like that guy can't be any sort of a better iteration of any qualities of the guy we did prepare for. So what's the big deal? And then Tommy DeVito just can run the ball like super fast down the field. And yeah, that's frustrating, but like also to the point of the Packers kind of mailing it in, it seems, on defense a little bit, and rookie quarterbacks and people who don't play a lot of football do really well against us. Baker's actually a solid guy, but getting a perfect passer rating in Lambeau is historically bad defensive coordinating performance. No one's ever done it before.
Only two guys have got a perfect passer rating. That's the baddest man on the planet, and Baker Mayfield
and Aaron Rodgers.
Once Mike reminded me of the Giants loss, I'm picking the Vikings just because losing to Tommy DeVito, a guy that still lives with his mom. I'm just
so proud of it too. Like,
dude,
I'm so proud of it, but like, man, the guy was really proud of that,
Well, he's literally down the street and he doesn't have to pay rent, man. I'd be proud too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really encouraging, I'll say.
That's just the lore. That's just the world we live in, man. Everything's just so expensive. Brock Purdy has a roommate.
Yeah, I know. He'll get paid one day, but just not right now.
Yeah. We kind of briefly talked about this, but it's kind of re-clarified. Is the winner of the matchups in this case, do you guys think the Vikings are going to the wild card round?
It's almost impossible to not at this point. Like, the way, mathematically speaking, like, they wouldn't even be eliminated from playoff contention until like week 18, maybe, even if they lost the next two games. That's how bad the NFC is right now, or really the NFL in general. But like, yeah, I mean, they just need to win like two of these next three, and they could probably sneak one against Detroit. And I really do think they're going to beat the Packers, but at Detroit, they'll probably lose that last one.
Yeah, because looking at the hunt list, Vikings are third on the hunt, and it's definitely doable for them. I think if they take care of business against Cincinnati, I have high hopes that they're gonna get into the playoff spot.
Dude, the Packers fell from 7 to 11 with that loss to Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah,
one loss can do that too.
You think the Seahawks can get it together? I mean, the Rams are sitting in the 7th spot right now.
Dude, I just hate those divisions where it's just one team, everyone else just sucks. I almost like the NFC South better because they all suck.
You'll say they all suck there, yeah.
They all have losing or 50% records.
Yeah, I'm looking at this playoff picture right now, and it is not looking good for most teams. I mean, like I said, the Bears technically, same with the Giants. The Giants still technically have a chance, but I just don't see that happening. I mean, the Rams are probably going to maybe not win out, but I don't think the Seahawks are not going to win tonight.
Yeah, I'll share my screen just so everyone can see what we're looking at here. But yeah, I mean, Lions are running away with it. I mean,
They have to win one game to win the division.
They can't. Yeah, Vikings won't beat the Lions twice, but I think they split. I don't think either team gets 2 wins.
Yeah. Rams have been like consistently disappointing, if that makes sense, the last 2 years.
Yes, but this year
that's a weird problem over there. I don't.
It could be a different year now. I mean,
yeah.
At 7 and like no one thought they were going to be 7-7. Now everyone thought they were going to suck for probably the next 4 or 5 seasons, but this year they got that one receiver Puka Nacua, and he's going off. He looks like a little Cooper Kupp out there, so they're probably only steps away from being really good again.
Yeah. My bad. I didn't realize that this said week 15. I forgot the Vikings already played Cincinnati and they lost. Okay.
Yep. Big time.
Yeah, that T. Higgins catch, that was
so dumb, dude.
That was insane because he hasn't done nothing all year.
What's worse about it is it happened 2 times in that game. T. Higgins did that twice to them. Like there was a touchdown which was really devastating because if you watch the replay, there's one of the Vikings DBs had a chance to just swat the ball out of his hand at least, or just push him out, but he didn't. He just watched. But it happened earlier in the game too on it was like a 3rd and 19 or something, and he just threw it up. Jump ball, and the guy caught it. T. Higgins, he'll go up there and get it. You need one of those guys on your team.
Yeah,
it really helps the quarterback out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So Vikings still have a chance. So Mike, I'll be rooting for you, low key, just low key.
You don't even
rather be the Vikings than the Lions, dude, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep.